Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com, your purchase and pricing email concierge. For your questions about the price of this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform, email me. My email address is tmosso@thewatchbox.com. This model was launched in 2015, and the example you see right here of the IWC Portugieser Perpetual Calendar digital date month is the 3972-04, and it was made in 250 pieces in red gold. The watch is 45 millimeters in diameter by 16 millimeters thick by 53.3 millimeters lug-to-lug with a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. It is a flyback chronograph. It is a perpetual calendar. It is all of these things and a red gold limited edition, a variant of IWC's all-time great dress watch icon, the Portugieser. And on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, you can see that you probably shouldn't wear it on a wrist any smaller than mine. I can pull it off just, but if your wrist is smaller than 16 centimeters in circumference, you're going to look for a different Portugieser. Now, whether you say Portugieser, which would be the German that is native to IWC's Schaffhausen manufacturer, or you say Portuguese, which is the English version, either one is correct, as after all, IWC was founded by an American in 1868. Now, the watch features a strap that is of high grade and impressively fashioned. It's Santoni, the Italian leather specialist that has become the OEM strap supplier to IWC. They use Signal Orange, which is their corporate color, on the bottom. It is made in Italy. You can see it's uncrimped, no gouging of the holes. This is a brand new factory strap in brand new condition. Gloss black, large rectangular scale alligator leather on the top. We have a sheer cut edge showing the layers of leather, a monotone stitch, and then you can see the condition, outstanding, brand new on both sides. The clasp is a single full deployment. You can see it has a combination of polish, media blasting, and satination. Open it up, you can see media blasted internally. It is a single full deployment and quite meaty. A lot of metal here, a lot of precious metal, and because it's a folding clasp, it will give you more protection against dropping your watch than would a pin buckle. The original Portuguese reference 325 of 1939 had integrated lugs, leaf hands, Arabic numerals, and small seconds, meaning although it was very different in scale, it was very similar in style and design philosophy to the 1932 Patek Philippe 96, another form-follows-function dress watch from the era. Well, they're born from the same school of thought with one major difference. The original Portuguese was to be a dress watch for the wrist that was as accurate as a pocket watch. The only way to do that back then was to put a pocket watch movement in a wristwatch case, because pocket watches were more accurate. But unlike a lot of the converted pocket watches, the officers' watches of the World War I period, this was a purpose-built wristwatch, and it became the first purpose-built oversized wristwatch, meaning it's very much within the spirit of our times without being a sellout. It's always been big. You can see the case features contrast between satin and polish. The bezel is concave and stepped in somewhat from the case band to create the image of a thinner watch. The crystal is cambered dramatically with a curvature that's designed to give you a little bit of the off-axis distortion of a vintage plexiglass. We have vintage-style elongated and polished chronograph pushers, and I should mention this chronograph resets and restarts with one push of the trigger. It's a flyback chrono. Note there's a mono counter at 12 o'clock with chronograph hours and then chronograph minutes in a 60-minute format. The 60-minute format is rare for chronographs. Flyback, start, stop, all of that. The flyback, the reset, the restart, it all happens with a single push, allowing you to use that flyback capability to time events that occur in rapid succession. You don't have to first stop and then reset and then restart. Now, we have applique indices inboard of those, rose gold Arabic numerals. We have a blue sunburst metallic dial. There's a white railroad track for reading your minutes and seconds outboard. And then we have sunken registers for small seconds, as well as for chronograph minutes and hours. You can see there is also on the chronograph base, we have from top to bottom, minutes, hours, seconds, constant seconds, and leap years. We have the date in double-digit form, and we have the month. This system came long before the IWC tribute to Paul Weber, and the idea was originally that this would be a sort of tribute to the Paul Weber digital jumping time pocket watches of the late 19th century. Well, IWC later advanced the state of the art in that regard with the anniversary piece that came out in 2018, but this still harks back to the Paul Webers, and it does so using a perpetual calendar mechanism. Now note, if I pull the crown out all the way, the watch does have hacking seconds. It stops the balance. But I pull the crown out to the first detent, and then I start turning, and everything moves in sync. This is the IWC Kurt Klaus perpetual calendar system that Klaus designed in the 1980s, and all you need to do is adjust the quickset, and everything else, the date, the month, and even the leap year will adjust because it's mechanically programmed. You cannot accidentally set a fake combination of date, month, and leap year. So it does all of the math for you. You never need to look anything up. You just adjust the correct date, make sure it's correct for the month, and you're in the correct phase of the leap year cycle, and it's all mechanically programmed. Flip it all over, we have manufactured caliber 89801. Free sprung, it beats away at 4 hertz, pivots on 51 joules, and it's adjusted in a chronometer style 5 positions. It gives you a 68-hour power reserve, automatic winding using a 4-pawl version of the historic IWC Albert Peloton winding system. So Peloton, in the late 40s, invented a pawl-based bidirectional winding system called the Peloton winder, and it inspired every pawl-based winding system that came after, such as Magic Lever. All of that references the original Peloton system, but this is a 4-pawl Peloton, which is unique to the 89,000 series movements and makes it a little bit more efficient. It is free-sprung for better durability and more precise setting, and as you can see, it is a very deep movement with a combination of both blued and polished screws. All of the finishing is mechanical, but it's handsomely done and quite attractive. This is all water resistant down to 30 meters, so it's a dress watch. Make no mistake in that regard. It should not be submerged. It is a chronograph with both a crisp column wheel that you can hear and feel when you actuate it, and a vertical clutch. So with the vertical clutch, there's no jump or stagger to the seconds hand when you start the chronograph, and if you wish, thanks to the vertical clutch, you can just leave the chronograph running full-time with no hazard wear or tear to the movement. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.